Welcome everybody to Chapter 5 of From the Wheelchair with Big Daddy Graham. We may have a shorter show than normal. One, I can't seem to get my headset working correctly, which means I'm not doing it with one. How's the volume sound? You're checking that out now?
Yep.
And I have no teeth. All my teeth got ripped out on yesterday. I mean, right across the board, ripped out. And I'm getting new ones tomorrow. My wife was kind of pissed off that I was even doing a podcast tonight, but here we go. First of all, thank you to my sponsors, the Crest Tavern, my man, Timmy Phipps, down in Wildwood Crest, hence the Crest Tavern, greatest pork sandwiches in the world. They are open year-round. So if you go down to Jersey Shore during the off season, make sure you stop in at the Crest Tavern. I want to thank Army Chevrolet and my dentist, Dr. Don in Cherry Hill. If you currently don't have one, by all means, my man, Dr. Craig, Donn, in Cherry Hill is the man to go. In my hand, I have 10, count them 10 topics that we will be discussing tonight. When the 10 topics run out, so does the show. Trust the process. I never trusted the process to begin with. It's a long time ago now, but there were a lot, and I mean an absolute lot, of people who were so into that process that Hinkie was a genius. Let's lose, get the draft picks we need to be able to truly get something done. Here was the skinny. We're tired of being the 7th and 8th seed. You're never going to win a championship that way. Well, guess what? You know what they are right now? The 6th seed. It's what they've fallen to. If the season ended today, they would go up against the Celtics, with the Celtics having home court. I don't even know what to make of Embiid and Simmons. I mean, I'm glad they're on the team, but I don't know. You know, there was a discussion on a show recently about who is the greatest player in the game, and he rattled off a lot of new talent that has broken into the league. You know, Zion. And you know who did not get mentioned? Embiid or Simmons. Despite the fact they started in the All-Star game. Well, Embiid did. Simmons came off the bench. Again, I'm going to say I'm still glad we have Embiid and Simmons, but this trust the process thing, right now, I don't know if it worked. My gut is telling me it didn't work, which means we put up with almost 3 years of brutal losing to get to the point we're at now, the 6th seed. I don't think that was the plan. I really don't. So this trust the process thing, wow, you can hear that I have no teeth. God forbid, I'm not going to smile. Didn't work. Did not work. And until they get rid of Brett Brown, it's not going to work. Every week I say the same thing. I don't know if a new coach will get more out of Embiid and Simmons, but I know Brown is not getting it. So let's try a new guy and hope. And do I not say that every week? But I saw a Trust the Process t-shirt tonight. Somebody came in with a house wearing one. I said, really? Trust it. All right, coronavirus. Topic number 2. I'm kind of the ugly American when it comes to this. I know some people now have died in the United States. But I'm still looking at this as a virus that's affecting other countries. Here's where the ugly American part comes in. And I have no pride in saying it. In fact, I'm ashamed of myself for what I'm about to say. Most of my life, whenever some disease was ravaging some country, if it wasn't America, I went about my day. It's horrible. I, like you, have enough problems with our ordinary day-to-day living here in the United States. I don't have time. Do I have sympathy? Yes. Do I have time to really put my mind and wrap my heart around it? I don't. I joke when I say this. I need to be driving into work and kind of dodging dead bodies along the way from people who have died of coronavirus. Is that horrible? I mean, that's really, really horrible. It's like The Stand. You ever read The Stand by Stephen King? One of the great books ever. Just make sure you get the original short version. I already don't like what I just had to say about the coronavirus. Seems real heartless, particularly since I think about, I think we're at about 7 deaths now. 11? 11 deaths now, including some in New York, I think. Oh, no. I don't think anybody in New York has died from it, but they have it, or some strain of it. So I got to get back to the other thing, only because I know I'm not the only one that thought that way. You hear these diseases, but they're not in your town. They're not even in your country. And I feel like I really have to readdress that. You know, because if hundreds of people are dying in another country, well, that is bad. But unfortunately, particularly in the Middle East, it seems like they bomb a cafe every day with 37 dead and 115 wounded. After a while, I listen to KYW in the shower, have my entire life. It goes in one ear and the other. Well, they traded in bead. What? I would turn off the water. It's horrible. It really is. My priorities, sometimes it's just not where they should be. Really, I admit it. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? The top of the show recap. Well, we'll do it next week. All right, now see, here's 3 deaths that affected me. I'll go in order of the least death. I'll save the main one for last. James Lipton died. He was a pompous horse's ass. He really was. But he so loved film and acting that I loved that show. You had to put up with the way he asked the questions. Let's go back. You're living in New York. Your mother's just died. You just turned down a role in Pulp Fiction. What's going through the mind of Brad Pitt at this moment? You know, it was done like that, you know? And that still got on my nerves. But I watched it every week. By the way, if you can YouTube this, and you probably can. YouTube Eddie Murphy on Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton. It's really good. Eddie Murphy treats it completely serious. And you find out a whole lot about Eddie Murphy and how he slowly developed his craft slowly. He's hitting the comedy clubs at 19. He's a major starlet by 23. But watch that James Lipton, Eddie Murphy episode. It's really good. So, yeah, I think it was 90 something, right? Lipton. So, and I hadn't heard from him for a while, so maybe it didn't go out well, but prayers, sympathies to James Lipton. 93. I wish it was 93. I wish the show was still on. I don't know anybody who's still doing what he did. A real in-depth thing with, you know, he was better than Charlie Wise. I can never get down with Charlie Wise. Oh, he's off the air now anyway, right?
Yep.
Sex scandal? I made a joke once. You know, most newspapers still have a TV listing for the night. Nobody even refers to them anymore. But I remember it said, I said Charlie Wise, Charlie Rose. It would say Charlie Rose, and in parentheses, in stereo. Wow. Did anybody put on a headset and go, oh, you gotta listen to Charlie Rose in stereo? Oh my God, it's the Wizard of Oz. You know, Charlie Rose in stereo. One of my and yours all-time favorite callers, Jimmy from Germantown, passed away. Where the heck my iPhone go? I'm going to go to the iPhone for this. That's if I can find it. Because somebody sent me a little bit of information about it. Yeah. His name is James O'Connell. Died in his sleep, so that's nice. 70. Certainly sounded way older in his 70s. But oh my God, was he a trip? He really was. And if I was on the air right now, I would be giving a major salute to Jimmy. And Mike Antolina, my great producer, would be putting together a little best of from Jimmy from Germantown. Let's just say it would involve nude driving with Richie Allen, the former field straight. Not that Richie Allen was nude. But anyway, Jimmy from Germantown. I used to put this, ever see the movie Trainspotting? There's a long piece of music in Trainspotting. It's like 10 minutes of the oddest sounds. I want to say it's recorded by a band called Primal Scream, if there is such a thing. And it would play underneath Jimmy the entire time he was talking. And he would act like it wasn't even there. Brilliant stuff. I'm going to miss you, Jimmy, big time. And you're like the third or fourth caller that's died on me now. It's how long I've been on the air. So let me get out. Oh, I'm sure it's way more than 3 or 4, but I mean regular callers that my audiences loved. People, I run into the Wawa of the street when I be done my shit. Somebody be in there and go, Jimmy was on fire tonight. Because it just made no sense. And I would stop him. Every time he wasn't making sense. You go, wait a minute. You're out with your girlfriend and your girlfriend's fiance, right? Is that how you put it? No, that's my sister, he would say. Whatever. I just want from the heart, my man. Andy Trackman died after I did the podcast last Wednesday. When I started off, Big Daddy Graham, I was an actor down at Society Hill Playhouse. A paid actor. It was a really great kid. Then Ronald Reagan cut the program, and now I knew I was going to be out of work, so I decided to put this insane Sinatra on Acid cabaret show. just me and a piano player, all right? Just me and a piano player. I rehearsed some of the songs with this chick, Jane Cackline, who was working at the Playhouse, but she couldn't do it. She wasn't going to be my piano player. So I put in an ad like, I want to sing in a city paper or Philadelphia Weekly or The Drummer. Wasn't there an underground paper in this town called The Drummer? And Andy answered it. We couldn't have been less alike. He was a quiet guy, but he had a great sense of humor. I was with him for 3 years. 3 years. And in fact, he was still my piano player when I broke into the comedy club scene. He even had his own song. I used to play the piano for one number, Wild Thing, you know, You Make My Heart Sing. And he would sing it in like this, Wild Thing, You Make My Heart Sing. And the crowd would go nuts. And this is not just me saying this. There would have been no Big Daddy Graham without Andy Trackman. Two ways of looking at us breaking up. One, for 3 years, it was a 50-50 deal. Whatever I got paid, he got half the money. All right? That were close to me that knew this. Saying, no, what's the name of this show? Big Daddy Graham. Who's writing all the material? Who's picking all the songs? It's you. He's kind of like a hired guy. You shouldn't be giving him 50%. I just didn't have the heart to cut his percentage, so I cut him out of the show. I would have never survived. There would be no Big Daddy Graham today if I would have continued to give him 50-50, because it's just not enough money. When you're starting off as a comic, you're making $50 a set, $50. To cut that in half was brutal. And then I discovered I could do the show with backing tracks. People go to a comedy club for one reason, to laugh, okay? Like, for example, when I did use this great backing track for a song called Nuns, no one ever came up to me at the end of the show and went, "Well, that Nuns song, that's in 3/4 time. That's really interesting, and it has no bridge." All these people wanted to do was laugh. So I found out that they would laugh just as hard with a backing track. So two ways of looking at it. He probably shouldn't have been getting paid 50-50 for all that time. And the other way of looking at it is I feel like a stone cold creep for cutting him out. But we stayed friends. He still flirted a little bit with the comedy business. He tried to do his own thing. And I went to every one of his shows. I was a big supporter, but it just didn't work out. But he died, and I gotta tell you, I didn't cry, but it was, I told you, I'm thinking more about the big finale coming. You do when you're in a wheelchair. And then when he died, I went, wow. He's like 61. He was the first guy. You know, it was like my band dying, you know? And it kind of whacked me out. And then I got really ticked off. I couldn't go to the ceremony. At the moment, I live in Jersey. It's really hard for me to get from Jersey up to like 6,800 Ridge Pike in Germantown. It's really, really difficult. When I do get this all together, I'll go see his mom. I was closer to his dad, and his dad was cool, but his dad has passed as well. Anyway, Andy Trackman, for anybody out there who remembers Me, when I used to have a piano player, his name was Andy Trappin. God bless you, buddy. Hope you're happy in the next world and you find a new cat to play with. Because you certainly were great playing with me. Don't forget, you can tweet me while the show's going on, right?
Yeah.
What's the best way? Go to YouTube?
Subscribe.
Subscribe to YouTube. You can do that by going to BigDaddyGraham.com, right?
Yep.
Subscribe. And I'm not making I'm not making any money. I'm not being paid an extra money for telling you to do that. You just get all kinds of neat advantages being a subscriber. All right? I really need these headsets running out of steam. Michael Bloomberg. I was disappointed. He dropped out of the race. I know he had these, no, let me rephrase that. I'm disappointed that he did not get enough votes to keep him in the race. Because in the end, that's why I decided to get out. Same day that Mayor Pete got out, Trump's back. He's going to get another term. He's just going to so rip apart Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. He wouldn't have been able to. I know you already got into it with Bloomberg, but Bloomberg has the kind of money that Donald Trump lies about that he had. And I thought Bloomberg would have given it a good shot. I know Mayor Pete was gay, and maybe that would have came around and hurt him eventually, but I'll never forget Mitch Williams. Yes, that Mitch Williams, who threw the pitch against Joe Carter. I was with Mitch Williams down WIP, and he said, look, it seems like a good candidate, but trust you on this. Today, with this climate, America would never vote a guy with the name Barack Obama into office ever. And I remember going, boy, that seemed like a good point at the time. But he got in. So I can't say a gay candidate absolutely positively wouldn't have gotten in. I'm disappointed that those two guys are not in there anymore. I am. Don't write me and tell me what a jackass Bloomberg is, what a commie idiot Bernie Sanders is. They're going on. Well, Sanders is still hanging in there, right? Right? Sanders hasn't dropped out. I just feel like, I don't know. Is Sanders still in, right? Well, then maybe let's hold on and maybe something will happen. But I thought Bloomberg had a chance to defeat Trump. I did. And he might have even been the same guy, but Bloomberg would have at least treated the position with some dignity. I mean, he wasn't, when he was the mayor of New York, town didn't fall apart. He wasn't tweeting at 3 o'clock in the morning. Whatever. I'm disappointed he dropped out. Wow. Tony Romo. Now, let me get this straight here. I think he's terrific. He's really good. He's a great play-by-play guy. But this will tell you how much money there is in NFL football and why players would have every right to bitch about some money grievance whenever one pops up. Tony Romo was getting $17 million a season to call what? Let's throw in some preseason games with 20 games maybe at the most. God forbid. $17 million. It's weird. I think what shook me about this is that it's one of the first times I remember the salary of an analyst being mentioned. They're rarely mentioned. I don't ever remember reading how much money Harry Callis made or how much money Scott and LA are making right now. And I know it's not that kind of money. It's not even remotely close. But $17 million a year. I know Pat Summerall and John Madden never came close to that. $17 million. Good for him. You know, it's a giant product that people love to watch. If there's that kind of money to go around, then there's that kind of money to go around. There you go. I think what bothers me is I'm like on the tail end of this business. I mean, I've been at WIP, a sports radio station, for 23 years. I hate to tell you this, you can add up the 23 years that I've been there. It doesn't come reasonably close to 17 million a year. God forbid. So maybe I'm a little bit jealous on top of it. By the way, I'm the first to admit when I am jealous. I never have a problem with that. If I'm jealous on something, then I'm jealous. Don't make me hate the guy. I don't hate Tony Romo. I enjoy his work. Am I jealous? You betcha. 17 million a year. What's this card say? Oh, advice. I thought I should have a segment every week where I give you a little piece of advice. I should have like a pipe and there should be a fireplace behind me. Words of wisdom from Big Daddy Grant. When you check it, and by the way, you know where this piece of advice came from? A Stephen King short story that I reread from a New Yorker magazine about 8 years ago. It's about a traveling, suicidal salesman who keeps a notebook of graffiti he has seen over the years as he stops in gas stations when he's going from Lincoln, Nebraska to somewhere in Iowa, right? And that's what he did. And he was so afraid that what would people think if they found this notebook after he died, because he's thinking about committing suicide. Anyway, there's a whole neat little breakdown for anybody out there who's ever had to travel. When he checks in to a motel, I mean a one-floor motel, the kind where your parking spot, if you're lucky, is right in front of your room, he will always ask for the end room, the room on the end. Wanna know why? It cuts in half the possibility of some yahoos keeping you up all night. If you got a room on each side, that doubles the chance. And I can't tell you how many hotels I've checked into where I never asked for the end room. It's really obvious. If it's there, ask for it. Probably taken, but you never know. And actually, it's probably more available than you would think, because you would have to get back in your car and drive a little bit of a distance to get to the end room. So I wonder, maybe it is available more often than not. The end room when you are checking into a motel. And of course, make sure the guy checking you in looks nothing like Norman Bates, but we all know that. Don't forget, you can tweet the show by what? Not at Big Daddy Graham, how do we want to? They can tweet me there, right, as well. And like me on Facebook. You hear anything that I'm saying that you don't like, then by all means, you can tweet me at Big Daddy Graham, like me at Big Daddy Graham, or go to BigDaddyGraham.com and hook up with the YouTube way of doing it. That's what we're recommending. So you would subscribe to the show. Every week I'm telling you I'm going to get this act together.
Better.
What do you want? I'm in a wheelchair. All right. Advice. End room. Alex Trebek today discussed his cancer. Today, oh, by the way, I haven't done this yet. Today is March 2nd, March 4th. Today is March 4th, 2020. Just to, for you folks out there listening, March 4th, 2020, Alex Trebek talked about his illness. He is experiencing pain. He's already went further than he was supposed to. They even got it down to a percentage. When you get his pancreatic cancer, 18% of people who get it make it a year. So he just became one of those 18%. To get to the next year, 7% get to that. I say this because I love the man. I really do. He's been hosting that show for God knows how long. It's the greatest game show ever. There's not even another game show close. First of all, it's got no wasted space. Show starts. Here's Alex Trebek. How you doing today? Yesterday we had a winner. Let's see how Scott and Judy do today. And boom, into the show. And then the questions aren't gimmies. You ever see some of the questions like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's like, who did Magic Johnson play for in the NBA? And then the guy goes like this. Could have played for the Celtics. I don't think so. It's such bullshit. Major bullshit. And then they finally go, all right, can I use a lifeline on this? Jeopardy doesn't give you time to use a lifeline. And me and my wife, we've gotten better with this over the years. We used to really compete with each other while we watched it. Now neither one of us keeps score. But she notices when I get one in before her and vice versa. Fun day to watch at home with your wife, husband, spouse, significant other. I met Alex Trebek. I played a game of Jeopardy with Alex Trebek. It was part of a film festival. He came into the lobby of this hotel on a Sunday afternoon, and I'd say about 80 people played. You had it like, it's almost like quiz show, where you were teens, right? And got this close to winning. I would have won a neat prize off of Alex Trebek himself. He just walked in real casual, exactly like you would think he is. Soft-spoken, nice to meet you. Oh, I had an aunt who lived in Philadelphia. Just really low-key, nice guy. And I ended up losing because I had this jackass on my team, the question was, what former band member did the soundtrack to Edward Scissorhands? And the answer to that is Danny Elfman, who was part of Oingo Boingo. Okay, used to be in a band thing that threw this jackass on my team off, insisting it wasn't Danny Elfman. It was like John Bon Jovi thought or something. And I get like doing the towel. I said, fine, because I didn't know it at the time. But we ended up losing by 1 point on that one. Alex Trebek, man.
36 years.
36 years you've been hosting that show. I watched it when Art Fleming was the host during the daytime. I love you, Alex. Please stay around for a long time. Okay. I posted this. I really should have. You know what? Do me a favor, Scott. In that room, you see a bookshelf. Hold on, not yet. At the very bottom of the bookshelf, you'll see this holder that holds magazines. Just bring in one of them. No, bookshelf is in that room. Yeah. Right in the corner. There's only one bookshelf. I know there's two. Go to the one near the window. It's this great live radio, isn't it? I should have prepared this before we went on. Last night, my daughter Ava helped me sort all this out. She even comes in a nice New Yorker case, which you can't get anymore. And I have to resort to buying a case down at Staples or whatever. In here, I say this one holds about 30. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, no. Here, for example, is one of the New Yorkers. Here's what I do. When I read a short story in a New Yorker that I particularly love, I save it. Now, remember, I've been a collector to the New Yorker now, let's see, 30 years, all right? And I might save 5 issues a year out of 50. New Yorker puts out 50 issues a year. Maybe I save 5 issues. Maybe some years I save 7. Maybe some years I save 3. I have 5 of these. Okay, I'm showing you one that holds various. Oh, I love this guy. Such a great illustrator. The covers to the New Yorker alone are just priceless. I'm not smart enough to read half the articles they have in there. Really, I'm not. But the cartoons and the artwork that goes all throughout them, I love them. And I've been collecting them for all these years. And guess what? In all this time, have I met even one single person who gives a shit about this collection? Not one. I don't even think my daughters, either one of them, are going to want this. What do I want with this? I'm going to lug these around? You know, I'm going to have to figure out what to do with it. And I take such great pride in it. So what did I do? I posted that what good is collecting something if ultimately it gets you depressed because you can't share it with anybody. And then I got a tremendous amount of response to this, with most people telling me, well, just have fun in the collecting. Who cares? If nobody else cares about it. You do. That should be enough. But it's not. If anybody out there collects New Yorker magazines, what's the chance? Is there one person out there doing this that's listening to me now? Even one. I don't think there is. I really don't. They don't appear to be the type of thing that gets a lot of money on eBay, except, and I'm working on this as well, my favorite writer ever, J.D. Salinger, who wrote Catch in the Rye, 9 Stories, Franny and Zoe, C. Morton Raised the Roofing Tide. That's one fiction book, 1, 2, 3 novellas, and 9 short stories. The 9 short stories and the 3 novellas all appear in various New Yorker magazines from the 40s and the 50s. Now I'm at to get all them, all 9 and the novellas. I have 1 of the short stories, and then I have another short story that uses the name Holden Caulfield, who ends up being a character in Catching a Ride. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It's just me. Just me. I was in Ireland, Killarney, to name the town, on a rainy Sunday night. I drifted. Well, I didn't drift away from the group that I was walking with, but we walked by a bookstore. I cannot walk past a bookstore. I can't walk past a record store. And the two of them are this close to being an endangered species, bookstores and record stores. Well, there's this really cool little small town bookstore. So I go in, and here they have this really neat pocketbook. The book was like this big, very hard to describe. Not much bigger than a book of batch. But it had pages. Right? It wasn't a J.D. Salinger book, but I said to the guy behind the counter, did J.D. Salinger ever release any of his little book? The guy went, are you kidding? Well, because he's unbelievably protective of everything with his name on it. Well, there's a dude inside the bookstore. He was your J.D. Salinger fan. I said, massive. And we got to talking. And I told him how I was trying to find the 9 New Yorker magazines with those 9 J.D. Salinger stories. And he said, well, I got that. I'm in Ireland, Killarney, in a little bookstore on a Sunday night. I'm like, you got those magazines? And he went, yeah. Damn it, Scott, we're going to have to get the other one now. Yeah. So he goes, yeah, I got them. So he says, I'm in walking distance to this bookstore. If you want them. Okay. Oh, never mind. I took them all out. Just forget it. Yeah, damn it. I don't know where I put them either. Anyway. So, no, sit down. We're good. So, I'm jacked. I'm so excited. And we get, I don't know where we got to. He was probably lying about where he lived as well. But we got about a block and a half and away. And he went, you know what? I'm sorry. I was lying to you. Just for a second there. Turned out the guy was gay. And he was trying to get the doctor. I don't know what, he wasn't going to overpower me. You know, I think he was probably just some lonely gay dude who liked J.D. Salinger. But at least he admitted it before we got in the apartment. And I said, well, nice knowing you. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But that's a true story. Killarney on a Sunday night. The day the Eagles beat the Cowboys on an interception lateral. I can't remember the names involved. I'm going to say Willie T is involved in that. It's the only I can work in a classic Eagles game with turning down some dates. Terrible. Therapists. I told you last week I'm seeing a therapist now. I like her. Like a lot, she seems pretty good. But I have a best friend who was a counselor for years. Not the same thing as a therapist, but close enough. He had to deal with dudes. I don't want to give away too much because, I want to keep it private. But he had to deal with dudes suffering from depression due to alcoholism, drug abuse, bad marriage, and stuff. And I was talking to him, and I happened to mention my therapist, and he went right into it, right here, to the left of me. And he goes, "Well, how do you like your therapist?" And I said, "I like it." He goes, "Tell me something you like about it." So I did. And he kept prying a little bit more. And then I said, no, she's wrong. You don't want to go down that path. So now, I got to make sure I never mention anything his therapist says to him again. Because that's like the worst thing you can do with a guy seeking therapy is have someone questioning the therapist. Ryan, I got to make a decision. It's not going to be my buddy. He's not going to be my therapist. I don't want him to be my therapist. Only because I think it works better when it's a total stranger who's your therapist. I don't know if it does or not, but that's all I need. It's like Monday morning quarterbacking is what the therapist said. And my buddy means nothing but good, by the way, nothing but good. But I just can't have it. This show, sponsored by the Crest Tavern, Timmy Fitz's Crest Tavern, down in Wildwood Crest. It's open year-round. My man makes an unbelievable pork sandwich, but inexpensive seafood and pasta dishes as well. Right in Wildwood Crest, as far down as you can get before you end up in Kitbay. Armin Cadillac, thanks, and my dentist, Dr. Don, who's putting in all new teeth for me tomorrow. You think I wouldn't know it sound bad? Wow. I hope I sounded so bad, people will call and go, "You got to subscribe to this show. Guy sounds like Bugs Bunny or Daffy Ducker." And me and Scott, I'm never going to say your last name.
That's fine.
Scott P. from Bonehead. Life Cycle. Excuse me. Life Cycle.
Old habits.
We decided I need a joke to close every show. So I just thanked everybody, right?
Yeah, you're good.
So I can close with this joke. And it's just not homophobic in any way. Two gay guys are sitting around. And one gay guy goes, "Hey, can you do me a favor? I swear there's something up my ass. Would you stick a finger up my ass and see what it is?" And his buddy goes, "Really? Come on. Yeah, come on. Just..." So he sticks a finger up his ass and goes, "Nah, I don't feel anything up there. I'm telling you. It's up there. Try a couple more fingers. See if you can't find anything." Jesus Christ. So the guy sticks a couple more fingers up his ass. And I don't feel anything. It's killing me. It's really killing me. Come on. Stick your hand up there if you have to. Please. Please, will you do that for me? It really hurts. So his friend sticks his hand up his ass and he's wincing the whole time. And finally goes, "You know what? There is. I do feel something up your ass." And he very slowly pulls out a Rolex watch. To which his other buddy goes, "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday." Good night, everybody. See you next week.